I'm going to show you guys how to do a name cube in OnShape. So here we go. Go to create, go to document, and call it name cube. Hit create. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create just a 10 by 10 square. So I'm going to start by front. I'm going to go up to sketch. I'm going to choose my front plane here, and I'm going to set my rectangle to center point rectangle right here. Click on the middle, draw a rectangle. Now it's going to ask for dimensions. You see how it's this little white box? That means it's asking you for input. So where it says 3.36, I'm going to just type 10 on my keyboard, hit enter, goes to the next one automatically. I'm going to type 10 again, hit enter, and now I have a perfect square. I'm going to turn that square into a cube. I'm going to click on this guy, I'm going to hit extrude, and I'm going to extrude it by 10 inches. Now I got a perfect 10 by 10 cube. Now I'm going to start by putting my first initial in there, which is I. I'm going to click on sketch, click the surface of the cube, and now I'm going to select my line tool right here. I'm going to make my I. Drop it down, go in here. And now when you guys are doing this, it won't be perfect. The measurements will be different. Like you probably see the top half of my eye looks a little bit different than the bottom half of my eye, and that's okay for now because we're going to fix it. Also, when you guys are sketching, I want this part to be the same. So if you are struggling to make that like exactly the same, if you have your line tool and you go over to this point and then you go over, you see that yellow dotted line, that means that you are in line with that point you just selected. Okay, to do that you don't need to click, you just need to hover. I'm going to go over a bit, I'm going to go up again. I want to be exactly in line with this one, so I'm going to just go like that. I'm not clicking, I'm just dragging over top, and then there, and then there, and then there, and then I think my eye is complete, so I'm going to hit the checkbox. All right, so I got my sketch right here, but you notice how one side is not perfectly the same as the other one. Here's where you're going to use your dimension tool. So in your sketch, you got this tool right here. It's like a little arrow. It says dimension, or you can hit the D key. Click on this one. I'm going to click on this line to this line, and it's going to give me 2.14. I want to change that to just 2. Okay, change that to 2. Change this part to 2. Change this part to 2. This part goes to 2. And then this one's probably the same, but we'll check it anyway. 2. All right. Now it's yelling at me, so I'm going to hit the escape key, and I'm just going to undo that part. Okay. And then if you do the smart dimension tool, you probably notice that this part and this part are not quite the same. So I'm going to click on this one to this one. You see it's 3.49. I'm going to change this one. I believe I changed it to 4. Yep. And then I'm going to change this one to, I'm going to do the same thing over here. 4. Okay, so now it is perfectly symmetrical. Okay, all right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my extruded cut. I'm going to select this thing here. I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to choose my extrude. Now, rather than doing the add like we did last time, we're going to use remove. Click on that, and it's going to go a little bit through, but we actually want to cut it all the way through. So grab your arrow, pull it all the way through there, and hit accept. So now we have the letter I. Now we're going to go to the side and we're going to do our second letter. It's going to be much of the same, but it gets a little more confusing. We're going to start off by doing another sketch. Make sure you choose the farthest point out on your sketch, like right here. And then you're going to do kind of the same thing you did before. I'm going to do the letter N because that's my middle initial. I'm going to do line. I'm going to start in this corner. I'm just going to do kind of a rough end to begin with, and then I'm going to tidy it up and make it pretty a little bit later. I'm going to have to tidy this one up a lot, but whatever. Making my block N right about here, right about here. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to need my dimension tool on this one. All right, so there I have my block N. It's pretty ugly. And then the other thing I want to have you guys do after you make your block N is you're going to close this off here and here. And you're going to close this off here and here, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so now I hit... so that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to use my dimension tool, and I'm going to use the 2-inch. Oops, I'm going to use the 2-inch deal that I did before. So here to here, I want this to be 2 inches. I want from here to here to be 2 inches. And okay. And then you might notice how this thing and this thing are not perfectly aligned. You guys can actually use this little thing here. This is called a relationship tool. If you use the relationship tool, if you do parallel, select this line and see how now it's parallel. So that's a little nice trick you guys can use. And now since those are perfectly parallel, I go back to my dimension. I choose 2, make that 2. And then I think, let's see if I can do this one right here. Change that to a 2. And then I don't know if it'll let me change this one. I'm not sure what I just did. Change that one to a 2. Okay, so now I got this perfect sketch right here. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to click on this part of my sketch, this part of my sketch. Sorry, let's get zoomed in. Okay, that part, this part, and that part looks like it came together. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Extrude, remove, grab it all the way through, and hit accept. So now if I go on the front, I got an I. If I go on the right side, I have an N. So there you go. That is what you call a name cube. So I would encourage you to do the same one I did first, and then try to do one with your own initials if you have different initials. So there you go. Have some fun. Good luck, and let me know if you need help.